Okay, today's video, we're going to talk about change bid strategy Google Ads on Google Ads / Adwords. If you're still calling it Adwords, it's called Google Ads now. Before you do this, know the key information I'm sharing with you here in today's video. This is like one of the most asked questions I get on this channel in the comment section. People ask me questions. I'm happy to answer them anytime using my 15 years of ad experience to answer them and my experience having run hundreds of Google Ads accounts for clients in the last 10 years. When, people are always wondering basically, when is the right time to switch bidding strategies? Or should they switch bidding strategies? And which strategy should they use? That's the most common questions. So with that said, I'm going to go through and answer each one of those exact questions for you in detail so you understand when is the right time, what is the right strategy at the right time, as well as if, because obviously bidding strategies are kind of compartmentalized between two main categories, smart bidding and non-smart bidding, which is like manual bidding. And when you're going to switch from smart bidding to manual, things you need to consider, as well as switching from manual bidding to smart bidding, different list of things to consider. I'll go through what each one of these things are as well in this video, so you have everything you need to know about switching bid strategies on Google Ads. So with that said, if you're going to if you're using smart bidding now, and you're going to go to manual bidding, there's some key benefits you get out of that, as well as some drawbacks, of course. First thing that can happen, the main reason why you would want to switch from smart bidding to manual bidding in your ad account is because it can kickstart impressions right away. Of course, for a price, because naturally, when people use smart bidding, they want to use smart bidding because they want Google to get them a certain return, a certain cost per lead, a certain ROI, which it can do, but it can't do very good right away. And if you have a crappy product or service or a crappy website, it's never going to get it for you. So I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. But so if you're not getting any impressions on smart bidding, the easiest solution to do for you is switch to manual bidding. From manual bidding, you'll slowly raise the bids on your keywords a little at a time until you start getting impressions and you start getting clicks. And you should pay particular attention to whether under the keyword status, any of your keywords say bid too low for first page, and raise your keyword bid to where that warning goes away. But what I'll typically do is, if I'm not getting impressions and I'm on manual bidding, I'm going to select all keywords, and then I'm going to say edit bids, raise by 10% all keyword bids, and then see if that kickstarts the system and I start getting clicks and impressions. If not, I'll raise it another 10%, or if I'm in a hurry, I'll do 100% increase. If that doesn't do anything, I'll do another 100% increase. A lot of people don't like this answer when I tell it to them because they don't want to pay $50 a click in some cases or whatnot, but you don't really have any choice. You either pay it or you go find some other way to market. This isn't a place where Google or anybody else cares, and it isn't going to make you any money. And naturally, of course, yes, Google has gotten greedy. They've charged a lot of money for a click now because there's people still willing to pay. And if you're wondering why there's people still willing to pay, it's because they do more than you to monetize a click, whether they get more from a customer in terms of repeat business, or they analyze what a customer's worth over time, and so they're willing to pay more for a click, or they have a better website or a better landing page that converts each click into a customer at a higher rate. Could be any one of those things. So if you're, generally speaking, if your competitor's there and you have more than one person advertising, you consistently see 3 or 4 people at the top of Google advertising, they're making it work some way, somehow. You can also make it work if you have a better mousetrap than them in terms of the better ad, better landing page, better way to monetize the customer. It's just a matter of how much work and how much do you have to know to do that. If you can do that, you will make money, not if, but when. So you shouldn't wonder why they can afford to do it. per se. It's what are they doing that you're not doing? That's the better way to think about things by far. With that said, going back to the topic at hand, smart bidding to manual bidding, switching from smart bidding to manual bidding, it gets you, one of the benefits would be that it gets you an even better spread between keywords, ads, and audiences. Because smart bidding is what it's going to try to do is go after the keywords most. So if you have a daily budget on a campaign of 100 a day, and it's gotten conversions from like 5 keywords and the other 5 haven't, it's going to skew the ad spend, that 100 a day ad spend, to those 5 keywords mostly at that point in time, which is frustrating from the standpoint that the 5 other keywords that haven't had any conversions, if you would have just let it advertise a few hundred more clicks or a few thousand more clicks, Google would have figured out how to run those keywords so they're profitable to you as well. So you're only getting half the keywords that you should have got, so to say. Because a keyword's not just a keyword anymore. If you're bidding on the keyword red shoes, Google, every time you get a click, they look at the person who searched for red shoes, whether male versus female, old versus young, rich versus poor, and they can find out if there is 10-20% of the people that search for red shoes that are profitable to you, they'll have your keyword or your ad only show up for that 10-20%. Well, if you haven't advertised enough on those keywords to have Google recognize where the 10-20% is, well, then you won't be able to monetize that 10-20%. And if you're using smart bidding and certain keywords are just getting a return quicker because you don't have to find that 10-20%, well, then naturally, you're never going to get to that 10-20% on those other keywords. So manual bidding will force Google to spread the budget out across all the keywords individually so that you actually force the other keywords that aren't getting clicks to get clicks. Okay? So that's one of the benefits in addition to what I said before, where you switch from smart bidding to manual bidding. Now, once all your keywords, ads, and audiences that you're advertising on have had hundreds of clicks, there's no reason to switch to manual bidding. There's not. I can't think of a scenario where I've ever switched from smart to manual bidding once we've had, I've been advertising a while with smart bidding on, assuming that the tracking was working the right way. That would be like the one caveat there. Why? Because you're always going to make more money with smart bidding over manual bidding. I know some people might argue with me on that little point, but I can tell you, I found out a few years ago already, I don't care how well you adjust your bids and do individual bid adjustments on keyword level, on the keyword level, on the time of the day level, day of the week level, state level, you're not going to beat Google's machine learning systems. They've gotten too good. They're going to be able to, like going back to what I was saying before about the red shoe scenario that I gave you, they'll find out the 1,000 different traits of a person who searches for red shoes, whether they like fast food, not like fast food, whatever, and identify that part of that keyword traffic works for you and doesn't work for you, and drill your ads into what produces a cost per lead or an ROI that you're looking for better than what you're going to do through manual bidding and bid adjustments on your own. Just take it from me, you aren't going to beat Google's machine learning systems. They're too good nowadays. So with that said, now on the other hand, if you're going to go from manual to smart bidding, okay, I'm going to go through what all the benefits and drawbacks would be with that now. So first of all, manual bidding to smart bidding, making that switch, which smart bidding would be maximize conversions or maximize conversion value bidding, by the way. And with manual bidding, by the way, when you do it, you should always use the enhanced CPC version of the manual bidding. There's a little checkbox there. Why? Because it'll make it so that if you need to bid $4.51 to have your ad show up for a certain keyword and you're bidding $4.50, you'll still show up. It doesn't, because if you have your manual bidding, that's a situation that you're going to have. And it also takes into a little bit of machine learning systems that Google has. It isn't the full machine learning systems that Google uses with smart bidding, but it'll figure out the statistical likelihood of somebody who's searching for red shoes to convert as a whole. Like, because Google knows with pretty good certainty the people that come through Google who's likely to be a customer versus not before they ever make a search, because they watch everything you do before you make a search. What you say, because they have Google apps that listen to your, what you say on your phone. When you carry it around with you, they see what websites you go to. And they've been watching everything people do, and everybody who searched for the keywords you're bidding on for the last 10 years. They've figured out pretty well who converts and who doesn't before they make that search. So naturally, the enhanced CPC bidding can help you, even where you'd have to bid $550 to show up versus $450 in that scenario I gave you, it would have you show up because they know that person's very likely to convert, and you would end up making more money in the short run while you're still using manual bidding, or should still use manual bidding, which I'm going to use manual bidding at the beginning of running my campaigns every single time because it's going to give me more flexibility in getting some initial impressions and clicks on all my keywords like I was talking about before. But while I do that in manual bidding, I'm still getting some of the machine learning systems pushing my ads, given that I want Google to charge me a little bit more if they see somebody that's highly likely to convert to come through. And so that I don't miss people because I just slightly underbid on a certain term. So main thing that is really ridiculous that I see though still all the time is smart bidding. First of all, it's not going to get you if you have maximize conversion bidding strategy, smart bidding strategy, and you set that up with a target cost per conversion or target CPA at $30 so that you're telling Google you want a $30 cost per lead, you're not magically just going to get that. People do that because they think it's going to be that easy. And if it were that easy, by the way, guess what? All your competition would have did it already. If all you had to do is have a credit card and go Google and say, get me customers at $30 done, everybody else in your damn space would have been doing it already, and there would be no opportunity available for you. Or it would be, ridiculously hard to get into. Because that's life. Google could get you a cost per conversion at $30, assuming it's easy to do that with no prior understanding of how to run your ads already, low competition, high demand, or you've been advertising a long time where Google understands which 10-20% of your keyword there already converts and which ones don't, like I was talking about before. So what people will do though is they'll start up a campaign, they'll just set up their smart bidding right away, set it to $30 cost per CPA, and then they say, Corey, I set my conversion tracking up to ask for $30 or my bidding strategy to ask for a $30 CPA, and I'm not getting it because I'm not getting any impressions. What do I do? And the reality is machine learning systems that Google has doesn't understand how to get you a $30 cost per conversion because they don't have any data. So instead of just running your campaigns at a loss and not at the $30 CPA, they just don't run your ads at all. So at the very least, if you're going to use smart bidding at the beginning, you have to have no target CPA. But even then, it's not as good as just running manual bidding with enhanced CPC because you're going to get the most reliable result. That is, you want to hurry up and get some clicks on your ads so you can start getting the ball rolling quickly. Then you switch over to smart bidding after that. But even when you do switch over to smart bidding, even though you want a $30 CPA, if you're now it's a $200 CPA, you don't just go from 200 to 30 because you're going to choke out that campaign and you're going to get no impressions. Because the system literally is designed to set up that if you tell it you want $30 CPA, if it can't get it to you relatively quickly, it's not going to run your ads. All that does is it finds the portion of the traffic that it could get you, that it knows will get a certain CPA, and then weeds everything down to that. If it doesn't know anything about anything yet, and it tries to run your ads, because it doesn't know anything, the only thing it can do for you is get a $200 CPA. Guess what it does? It just shuts down the ads because that's what you told it. You basically say, when you say you want a $30 CPA, is either get me a $30 CPA or get me nothing, because I only want a $30 CPA, and it does just what you wanted to do and said, and it can't get it, so it ain't delivering any impressions to you and no clicks, and it's never going to unless you loosen up your standards. So you just got to know that about smart bidding. It's not a magic pill, so to say. It's a great tool once you've gotten data to dial in your results and take you from $200 CPA to $180 to $150 to $125 to 110 and eventually get yourself down, lowering it 15% at a time. But that's the proper way to use smart bidding to get a target CPA that you want or target ROAS that you want. Second thing to mention about manual to smart bidding, making that switch is if you have, as I mentioned, no data to back that up, it'll be a bad move because your impressions will basically just go down to zero. Unless you're selling something with high demand and low competition, because the chances are just because your ad is there, people will buy from you right away and therefore you'll get good results right away. Therefore, Google doesn't have to learn anything to get you results. Switching from manual to smart bidding, if you have poor quality data, it's also a bad move because a lot of people don't do conversion tracking. And then of the people who don't do conversion tracking, which is about 30% of the people who advertise on Google Ads, half of those people don't even do it right. They do it half-assed. It's hard. They don't hire the right person. They're too cheap to hire the right person, whatever, which is dumb because half the value of your ad spend is just picking up the data that tells you what works and what doesn't work. They will set it up using Google's reps, which are, by the way, terrible to set up conversion tracking. And if you try to hire a cheap PPC firm to set it up for you, they'll probably fail as well. You need to hire an expensive PPC firm, or you need to go to an analytics agency to get it set up right. And it's worth it if you're spending any more than $30 a day on ads. It's worth it to pay that firm because at least it's a one-time expense that you'll probably have to spend, and it'll at least give you the chance to make your ads work. Because most of the time it isn't going to just work right away, and you have to figure out what part of what you're doing works versus doesn't work to get you the return that you want at the end of the day. It's not so easy. You can't just turn your ads on and expect them to be at the ROI that you want right away. So anyway, people will set their tracking up wrong. It will show some data, but it's intermittent. It tracks some of the conversions versus others. It tracks, 2 conversions when it's supposed to track 1 or whatever. So it's just set up incorrectly. And so if it's incorrect and you turn on the smart bidding, guess what? Now your campaign's going to go completely off the rails when you do that. So you have to be very careful when you switch from manual to smart bidding. You have the right data that you've built up over time. I'm typically going to want at least 30 conversions in my account before I use smart bidding. And if I already have, and if it's a new campaign within an account that's already had 30 plus conversions, I'm still probably with that campaign going to also want that individual campaign to have at least 10 conversions because I don't want my campaign to have have a lot of volatility as well. I'd rather just I want a smooth ride to the top. Anytime you make the switch from one bidding strategy to the other, you're going to jolt the system. Google Ads hates change because it's all predicated on machine learning now. And you're going to have, by the way, 1 to 12 weeks of negative volatility in your results. So if you were trucking along making $5,000 a day, you switched bidding strategies, you might actually go to $2,000 a day for a week before it goes up to $3,000 a week, $4,000 a week, and then back up to $5,000. But you'd still do it though, because once it gets back to $5,000, now it's going to go to $6,000, $7,000, and you're going to make your millions because you're on smart bidding now or whatnot. So it's like ripping off a Band-Aid or just taking medicine. You have to do changes in Google Ads to get to your next level. What's stupid is to make changes when you aren't qualified to know whether or not what you're doing is good or not, and just make changes because, ooh, let's see what this will do. Let's see what that'll do. Because every time you make a change, you're going to take a hit on your results. Why take the hit on your results when you're just literally guessing as to whether that works? Because when you guess, 80% of the time, it's probably not going to actually get you more results, ultimately. It's not a 50-50 because most stuff don't get results, so to say. You'd be better off hiring somebody who just, all they do is test the stuff you want to test and let you know which 20% of it could work. And then only make changes then. So, You gotta make sure you have the right data before you switch. The more data you have, the better, and the less volatility in your results you're gonna get. If you have 1,000 conversions on a campaign and you go from manual to smart bidding, you probably aren't gonna notice anything. Whereas if you had 5 conversions, you're gonna have a lot of volatility in your results, making that switch from manual to smart bidding. And as I mentioned before, smart bidding is going to do a hell of a lot better than manual bidding in the long run for your account. Without question, every time, I don't care for what. And if it doesn't, your tracking is not set up correctly to track accurately, or track the things that you need to track. That is, you're tracking lead quality, if you're generating leads, and whether leads turn into sales, and whether those sales are big sales versus small sales, and whether those customers are going to come back versus not come back, which all can be done with Google Ads conversion tracking and offline conversion tracking systems. You can watch my video about offline conversion tracking if you're interested in that. But in general, you just got to know that it's worth it to set up tracking to be as accurate as possible. Number one, that is, if you're generating leads, you don't want to just settle for that. You want to generate and get your whether your leads turn into sales, and then use that sales data to steer your ads. Or if you can't track whether it turns into a sale, you at least score the lead, so you can use the ads, your conversion tracking, to track whether a lead was qualified or not, and then use that to steer your ads. And then, so basically, get your conversion tracking to tell Google Ads as much as you possibly can as to whether they're getting you the end result that you want at the most refined level possible. And then that plus smart bidding, you're going to get the most results possible with all of that. Because the smart bidding is going to find out every conversion that comes through, the person that comes through, what is their 1,000 traits that make them unique. They compare that to the next customer who comes through, and so on and so forth. And the more customers they get, the better of a bead they get on the traits that make a customer of yours. And so they can decide whether they should show up your ad for a person who comes through Google, or if you're running display ads, same thing, or not. What you should be spending 2, 3, 4, 5 times per click on, because it's worth 10, 20 times what the typical customer is worth, versus where a customer ain't worth shit and you shouldn't be spending or going after them at all on the other side. So with that said, smart bidding is always going to be better than manual bidding. You can just take my word on that. But that's everything I can tell you about Google bid strategy, changing the bid strategy on Google Ads / AdWords, what you need to know about it before you do it, what to expect. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment or a question on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. I'll use my 15 years of ad experience to try to put you on the right track with what you're doing. Even if your question isn't about bid strategy changes, you can easily ask me any other ad-related question you'd like, and I'd be more than happy to try to help you out, put you on the right track with things, just as a thank you for watching the channel and helping the channel grow. And with that, by the way, if you are looking for a channel to subscribe to that's going to help you make millions of dollars running ads for your business, then this is the channel you want to subscribe to already, because this information I'm giving to you here on this video and on this channel is coming from somebody who does ad strategy 40 hours a week, working on clients' accounts, and I manage dozens upon dozens of ad accounts to figure out what works. And I have a team who does most of the execution. My job is just to do the strategy side of all the work, all the campaigns that we're running. And so I literally have a better bead on it than anybody else that makes any content out there that I still know of on YouTube as well as on the web in general. So therefore, you're getting information straight from the source. Most of the other people you see out there, they're selling courses. They're not really running ads at all themselves. They say they are, they aren't. Or they run an agency, but they're not hands-on on the work, or they run a couple campaigns, so they don't really have broad-based knowledge like I do. So with that said, you want to subscribe, and you want to subscribe right now. And as a side, I also have a blog. You can follow my blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog, where you can find step-by-step information for myself, specific strategies that work, can make you money, with screenshots, with all of that. If you like my channel, you're also going to love my blog as well. Beyond that, if you are looking for somebody to just take on, get you the results, use the strategies I talk about on this channel, this is exactly what we do for clients at our advertising firm. And we do not charge our clients any fees until we can get you a certain amount of minimum results on your campaigns up front. The only catch being we got to know we can get great results with your campaigns up front. But if you want to see if we can work together and think that you have something there that could, if a really good PPC strategist could work on your stuff, would get you good results, you should definitely reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be more than happy to look over your stuff and see how much results we can get with it, if we can get your results at all. Beyond that, if we've worked in your niche market before and you are trying to shortcut your way to success with your ads, which of course everybody is, but we can actually also sell the ad templates that work for your niche market, so that, beyond or as a secondary option of just working with us to do everything for you on our end, if you want to manage your own ads, if we worked in your niche market before, and we've worked in over 100 different niche markets in the last 10 years at Guaranteed PPC, you can use the exact ads, landing pages, all of it that work in a different geographic area for our client in your own geographic area, and get the same results they were with none of the work and none of the money we had to spend to figure out what works the best in your market. We got people using these templates because they're so good to start other businesses. Starting a business around a template to sell a product or service that gets known results is the easiest way to do it. I don't care what anybody says. We got people that also just use these templates to sell leads to people in a number of different markets, given they generate leads at a cheaper rate than what most people can get them at, which is a great passive income business idea, by the way. But if you're interested in that as well, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. Be happy to speak with you about the opportunity itself. But I'll wrap everything up with that. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, as I mentioned, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya.